Hi, I'm Shamar Griffith, codename Comic Shams.
And I'm Andrew Tejada, codename Arate.
I'm a blurred with a love for artwork and comics and animation.
And I'm a writer in Blurred with a love for pretty much the same things.
We grew up together and spent much of our formative years watching and talking about DC superhero shows and content. In fact, we still do.
Every episode, we will discuss a DC production, compare it to its original source material, and share our thoughts on the adaptation.
We've enjoyed our conversations these past couple of decades, and we think you will too.
This month, we're checking out New Earths as we hop across the DC-verse on
yet another DC animated podcast, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Shazam! And welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. Here to taste the rainbow, as always, are my lovely co-hosts, Shane Beauregard.
I don't want to taste the rainbow.
I don't blame you. No free ads! And Chris Brodell.
No, I'm Mr. Marvel.
Yes, of the million bajillion names. And then, I honestly had forgotten. I don't know, did they explain the whole Solomon, like the whole breakdown of the Shazam name in the first one? I don't remember that. Did they?
I think it was
mentioned briefly, like in passing, kind of like, here's what it is. And they explain it in 15 seconds.
Yeah. It's not going to hold. But hey, man, a Harry Potter wand or whatever tells me what it means. Excellent. Let's do it. Although it had a very Clippy vibe from like Microsoft XP period. Anyway, more importantly, we are going to talk about Shazam! Fury of the Gods today. This is the end or start of the end of the DCEU. Before we get into the James Gunn era of the DC universe, this is, of course, the sequel to the original Shazam. A lot of the same people are back, of course. Zachary Levi as Billy Batson, all his siblings, everybody's back. I mean, they might have new alter egos. I forget whether like any of those advanced anyone notice.
They looked all familiar to me.
But I think Mary was replaced by Mary Borth.
Okay.
Mary was replaced by Grace Caroline Curry.
Got it. Okay. And of course, David F. Sandberg is still directing this one. It's written by Henry Gayden, who was a writer on the first Shazam alongside Chris Morgan from the Fast and Furious franchise. Of course, we have new villains with Lucy Liu, Helen Mirren, and Rachel Ziegler from West Side Story, if you've not seen her before. What an odd pairing. They even mentioned it in the movie, and I was like, yeah, please explain this, because all those pictures you keep showing don't really add up. I don't fully get this. I'm sure there's some better explanation than what they did in the movie, but not enough. Not enough for me to go, oh yeah, Helen Mirren makes a ton of sense, and what is Lucy Liu supposed to? I don't get it. And I think a lot of people are confused by this because the scores are frankly not too kind, with a 52 Rotten Tomato score, a 46 Metascore, a 6.7 IMDb, an 88 Rotten Tomato audience score. I don't get that. I just shake my head. And even a 3.0 on Letterboxd. I was like, okay, we'll talk about it. This is, of course, Billy Batson and his foster siblings transforming into the superhero Shazam. And in this particular one, they have to fight the Daughters of Atlas, who they must stop from using a weapon that could destroy the world. Of course, this weapon was featured at the end of the first Shazam movie for anyone who wants to catch up. I needed to. I was like, oh, right. As much as they already went, oh, yeah, let's show the people again. A very disappointing opening. Did you guys see the numbers from the weekend at all? It was
no, but I've only saw the title of the article saying, you know, take a dip.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. They did less domestically than Scream did. And for a superhero movie, that is tragic. So 30.5 domestically, 64.7 million total for the weekend, when any superhero movie worth its salt in the post, you can call it post-COVID, but like the end of the truly strict COVID era, everybody's getting usually around 100, 200, 152, like that first weekend. This is bad. And honestly, we called a lot of BS on the trailer, even though I was probably, I think, more optimistic than the both of you, being like, oh, this will be fun. Maybe I'll see it with my kids. And then I was like, as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, damn it. I remember Shane specifically being like, I think it's going to be a problem that they're all superheroes. And I'm like, nah, it's fun. Remember the end of the movie? That was good, right? And then you're like, oh, there's a whole movie of this? Shit. And like I'm watching, I'm like, too many characters, too many things going on. Yeah. And let's toss in 3 new villains and everything else. So, with all that in mind, let's get into a little bit. Shane, I'll start with you because I already kindly called out some of your gripes with the trailer, at least. Did a lot of things crystallize of what your fears were with the trailer while watching the movie?
It did. This is the first movie in a couple of weeks where I had enough room in my pants. I didn't have to worry about my pants getting tight because it didn't move one iota.
Yeah,
I didn't like the family aspect of it so much. Like you mentioned at the top, I got bored as this movie went along. I'm like, can we wrap this up? I felt like bring that big buzzer from the Dave Chappelle show, like, boop, hit it, like, wrap it up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Wrap it up, B.
Yeah, wrap it up, B. God, this movie was all over the place. I thought the humor was okay at times.
Yeah.
But kind of felt forced. And again, there was too many characters, and they only focused on a couple. It's like, here's Adam Brody. That was like the most prominent, and that makes sense because they were the best friends of everyone in the house.
Yeah.
And Mary, but there were like 3 characters. I'm like, they spend 0 time on those, even trying to develop those characters.
Right.
At all. And you Chris mentioned the scene about, they run into the house and like, we got to tell you something. And one kid goes, I'm like, yelled at, I'm gay. I'm like, that felt forced and that bothered me for some reason. Like that line didn't need to be in there at that time. Like, I don't know why. I had lots of issues with this movie. And for a superhero movie, I still stand by this. The most ridiculous thing in this movie and the most unbelievable thing in this movie is that Victor Vasquez, the father, would ever land Rosa Vasquez. ever.
Totally.
But no, the villains were all over the place. I felt Lucy Liu was miscast. I didn't mind Helen Mirren. I like the youngest one, but still, I'm like, why did she have to infiltrate the high school again? Like, I don't. I just Shazam.
Yeah, what was their intel that they had to focus on Freddy and get into
none
and build,
none
like,
that I know of.
I couldn't see it. I couldn't piece it together.
Except for she mentioned, like, I heard you met some superheroes here. Like, where do they sit?
Oh,
or
right. Like maybe like a YouTube viral thing. But even then, how are 3...
How they know?
Right, exactly. How are 3 of Atlas's kids like, all right, cool, fire up YouTube and Reddit so we can find these guys? No?
Right. So I laughed a couple times. And, we'll get into spoilers as it goes along. Because there's 2 scenes that I didn't mind. But the rest was, like, too long. I'm like, again, wrap it up. And I just didn't care. I didn't care.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I went in with great intentions, and I was, like I said, the person who probably championed the first film the most, and I thought it had only an ounce of the charm that the first one had, and I think it's mostly because they had too many people to give lines to, too many people to give storylines to, and oddly, you brought him up, like, Freddy seemed to be the focus of this movie way more than Billy, which I think is just absurd. So
right.
I don't know. Like you said, it was all over the place. I totally agree with that. A lot of the reviews I've seen echo the same thing. Chris, did you feel the same way here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have, 6 kids who have all similar powers, and you're supposed to, stay focused on each one that gets a storyline. That's what I understand. Like, maybe this is like 3rd or 4th movie down the line, but you don't just give out these powers
right
to other people and then have all these colors streaming across your eyes on screen.
Yeah.
It was too much, and they all don't have different powers.
Mm-hmm.
They all have the same power.
Right.
And they don't use them correctly. And they're more trouble than they are helpful.
Right.
Yeah, it was, like Shane said, it was all over the place. I didn't understand the powers of the Daughters of Atlas. Lucy Liu, her character, influences great, but then she gains powers once she has the staff, and then we don't know what the limit is of her powers, but whatever the scene calls for, there she has them.
Yeah.
And the same with Helen. And Rachel Ziegler, her involvement was just like, it is very absurd that, she's at the school that, one of the heroes is at, or a couple of the heroes are at.
Yeah.
And it just, it didn't stick to one storyline.
Right.
It was just like, and I didn't even know what the whole point of the Daughters of Atlas were until they explained it as it was happening.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And
when was the first Shazam? Was that like 2018, 2019?
I think you're right. I think it's 20. No, that was 5 years ago. No,
2019.
2019.
So 4 years, you probably have to do a little more possible explanation stuff in the movie itself. And again, you said like eventually they did some, but I don't know, man. And if they didn't have so many characters to deal with, I think they could have done some kind of like catch up with everybody and do that. But I didn't feel like there was a ton of that. And Shane, I feel like you're chomping at the bit, but like I have one thing for you, because you said your one big hang up is that the father in this situation would never pull the other one. Here's another thing that would probably never happen. These bullies picking on Freddy still in this movie, when it was bizarre in the first movie because we're in the 2020s, nobody's beating up a cripple. Like what? I don't care how much of a smart mouth he has. Nobody's beating up a cripple and getting away with it. Like he would be toast.
Equal
in the
opportunity.
Era of, sure, but like people who videotape everything and whatever else, you don't think one beating of a cripple would put you in like blacklist hell as a teenager? Like you'd just be done. You'd be toast. But I don't know, man. So and for it to continue, especially after he had the lunch with a superhero, is this the dumbest thing I've ever seen? Like nothing changed.
You know what? I
nothing
forgot
changed.
about that.
Yeah, I did too. And
Sorry,
I was going back to
Shane,
Chris's Lucy Liu's powers, right?
Yeah.
It bothered me so much that everyone was acceptable to her powers, even the freaking wizard. Oh, but Freddy can just crawl right through it and just seem to like use his little crippy body to like not give in to it. I'm sorry, but no, it kind of bothered me to like.
Which, by the way, I know it's hard. I just binge watch, rewatched 8 seasons of House. I understand it's hard to be crippled when you're not crippled and make it seem legit all the time. But man, there were some times down here I was like, is he even still crippled? Like, what's going on?
He was running pretty good.
Yeah. I know, he had some movement.
He was waving that thing around.
Yeah, I didn't get it half the time where I was like, okay, yeah, I guess an extreme. How handicapped is he? I said too many times to myself, which is not a good thing.
Conveniently.
For your movie. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and then the whole unicorn scene. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, if you're braced up, it's got to be a pretty sizable handicap that didn't just go away. And if anything, sell it to me that like now, because he has, you know, Shazam powers flying through him, that maybe he improved. Or,
there you go.
But
could have been.
No, that's not the case. Anyway, go ahead.
And that whole unicorn foreshadowing scene when she made the little box for school and it comes back later in the movie. Yeah. And she threw the Skittles at him, like, ugh, which happened to be my son's favorite part of the movie. And when she was about to swear and, like, you know, whatever she was about to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found that just, I don't know, a lot bothered me in this movie.
Well, it's weird. It's one of those movies that because it has enough spectacle and moves stuff along fast enough that it doesn't really like have enough time to really sit with you to be angry in the moment. And then the more I talk with people about this, or the more I kind of like look into stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that was stupid. Oh, that was pretty stupid too. Oh, that's really stupid. And then we haven't even gotten to the fact that I said the taste the rainbow thing up front. I feel like there was even more than just that for product placement too, right? It felt like just like so many moments where I was like, are superhero movies broke? Why do they need product placement? What's going on here?
I think because everyone knows Taste the Rainbow, You know, they had
Okay,
to throw it in, and you know, unicorns like sweet stuff, you know, and that's a way to calm
what
the
did they
savage
compare
beast.
it to? What was the equivalent
Like,
they were trying to find?
Ambrosia
Yeah,
or something.
don't we
like
have
that?
ambrosia
Yeah.
salad? Like, isn't that a thing? I was just like, oh, are they doing that? And then like all of a sudden it's Skittles. I'm like, Skittles is the closest thing to ambrosia? Don't we have actual ambrosia? It's not like a fucking, you know, it's not like unicorns where it doesn't exist on this planet.
I was going to say, once they said nectar of the gods, foolishly, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, it's like honey or something like that. Get a bunch of honey. I'm not even thinking of the Skittles at that point. I'm just like, okay, they're going to get a bunch of honey.
Right.
And don't you know, Andrew, no one eats the ambrosia salad at grandma's house during the holidays. That's the salad that sits there.
That is true.
Hey, man,
sits
but I'm
there.
not sitting around a bunch of unicorns. Maybe the unicorns will eat it so we don't have to, Shane.
There you go.
Let's just do it. But, yeah, I mean, listen, I will take you off the hook, Shane. I don't care about spoiling this movie. I'm actually trying to save people. This podcast needs to save lives. This movie I thought was going to be fine. In fact, I saw some early reviews where they're like, this movie is as, you know, close to being as fun or as fun as the original and all this stuff. I'm like, no way. The first movie takes its time. It does the whole big thing where it's like, I can't believe this is happening, figuring out the powers, Freddy and Billy's relationship being honed in without having to worry a ton about the other kids until the very end. Like, I was cool with it. Like, it had a terrible villain. Like, the Mark Strong thing is kind of like meh. And the CGI monsters that he can concoct and all this other stuff, I wasn't that impressed. Same with this movie, by the way. I was like, okay, like the dirty Cyclops here and you know, whatever, like they're all like coming out of the Roots or whatever, which, by the way, I don't know if that was a subtle nod to, you know, the Roots taking over Philadelphia because the Roots are from Philadelphia. That was my hope. I hope someone was sitting there like, Questlove is one of the producers of this movie or something, them and the CEO of Skittles like just sitting around a room, let's write this movie, let's get some things in there. But no, like that whole thing of like all those monsters coming up, I thought they looked meh. Yeah,
I was going to say the dragon was the only thing that looked pretty cool. And even that was like certain scenes there was, you know, it was a little wonky. But overall, I was just like, that's a pretty good dragon. But then as soon as you put Lucy Liu on top of it, it's just like, that looks like worse than, you know, was it Falcor? You know, it's just like
Falcor was a dog that they picked up that day.
I know, but still, just like, you know, it was like a big maquette of a creature, and this one was like there's no wind whipping through her hair. She was just sitting on top of the thing, like acting like she's steering. So I'm like, okay, all right, well.
And they mentioned
it was cool from a distance.
They mentioned this in the movie. Why is a dragon, who, by the way, should be fire-breathing? I've never known them not to be. And this one was really kind of like more laser, like blue flame or laser kind of a thing going on. It's made out of wood. Why is a dragon, who is known for shooting fire, made out of wood and is totally fine? Like, it's just a bad idea.
What are you saying? I don't.
I'm saying his name should be kindling the, and, you know, instead of him throwing out.
That's why it was blue, and it just made you have fear come through every pore or something like that.
Sure.
Was that the answer?
Yeah. His name was Zippo. That's what it was. He had that blue flame.
And I think they designed the dragon that way so they could get that joke in at the end when Shazam was like, poor design or something like that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The movie was almost so meta to the dumb moments it wrote into its own movie that I was just like, is this what we're doing now? We're eating its own tail in the movie now? Like, instead of just being like, you know, something that retroactively, you know, took away something from another movie in that same universe, now we just do it within the same movie. Like, this is just dumb.
We get it.
Yeah.
I will say there is some carryover from the first one to this movie with me, where I realize you have to differentiate between the character of Shazam and Superman because they are kind of similar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the idea that Billy has, and I'm going to go through this, the wisdom of Solomon, strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, power of Zeus, courage of Achilles, and speed of Mercury.
Right.
None of those really like stuck once he was in the Shazam form. Like he was still Billy, but in a different avatar.
Right.
You know what I mean? From the comic books, now I'm not a huge reader of Captain Marvel, Shazam, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But the little that I do know is he's a completely different character when he's in Shazam form.
Right.
He's brave. He's, he's not as talky.
Yeah.
He'll just like, the 1940s jargon comes out of a Superman type character.
Sure.
Where, I'll get you, I'll put you into the clink. And,
yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Billy doesn't really talk like a kid either in the comic.
Right.
He's, an ace radio reporter that just happens to be involved with all these actions that Shazam takes,
right,
or Captain Marvel takes, and he reports on it.
Right. So it's
Where
more
you
closer
have
to like
Clark
the
Kent.
Spider-Man deal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or Clark Kent as a reporter.
Right.
And then he's also a superhero.
So I will say, like, I wasn't a big reader of that either, but in the later animated movies for DC, they did make him naive and more kid-like as Shazam. So I thought this form kind of represented the animated form they brought, to the forefront in a couple of movies that he was featured in.
And those predated
that was brought to my
first,
attention.
Yes.
Zachary Levi movie? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it was like 2011 or something like that, was around that time or whatever.
Right.
But, have like this character be like he's braver as Shazam, but as Billy, he's like a little meek, isn't as brave, and then uses this new avatar to get through certain situations.
But no, Shane, you brought up the anime. I'm actually curious. Did they also have the orphan thing going on in that one too? Because nobody's mentioned the orphan thing either in the comics or like on your part, Chris, or whether Shane saw that. You're saying yes.
Yes. Yeah. He was an orphan, but he was like with his foster parents at the time during the animated movie. And it was more recent in 2011. I wish I had the title in front of me, but he ended up fighting Superman at the end of it. And Superman kind of used his naivety against him to defeat him and turn him back into Billy Batson.
Was this the Return of Black Adam one you're referring to, or no? Because that is 2010. It says Superman Shazam: The Return of Black Adam. Does that ring a bell?
It could have been that, but I know Lex Luthor was involved, so I can't remember if it was like a Justice League episode that this happened in.
Maybe.
Where Luthor manipulated Shazam into doing his bidding, and Superman came in and was like, you can't trust Lex Luthor, yada, yada, yada. Give him a second chance. That's what you're supposed to do. Then they have a big throwdown at the end of the episode.
Gotcha.
I did want to add that in like his first appearance in Wiz Comics, he was like on maybe 4 panels on the street. Like, I'm homeless and it's cold out and blah, blah, blah. And this cloaked character comes up to him and says, here, come with me. And he brings him down to this subway system on a special train that looks odd with like runes on it.
Right.
And then brings him to the wizard.
Right.
And the wizard bestows on him this champion character. But again, it's just like, it seems like, yes, they grasp a lot of, from those stories, because you have, Dr. Savannah. He was his main foe back in the day. But you have him, you have these adventures that he's on, and they're pretty like quick. They're like 11 pages.
Right.
And it's in an anthology type book where there's like other characters or whatever. And it just seems like that's thrown to the side. He's now suddenly, working as a radio guy. He's got a job, but I don't know where he lives.
Right.
He's not on the, was it the Rock of Eternity?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
He's not on that. He's either Billy or he's Shazam.
Right.
You know, it's just like, that's it. He has no home, and there he is. And no family until like later on, I think.
Yeah. And in this movie, it took him a while to actually show Billy. And I like when he showed up a few times, I was like, oh, who's that kid? Oh, wait, that's Billy. It took me a minute because they didn't show him for like a good part of this movie, because he starts out in the therapist's office, does that whole thing. Then we do so much stuff with Freddy and everything else that it just kind of, gets lost. And they're in the lair, all that stuff, and they're all still in superhero form. They have the bridge thing, which I was like, this is just odd. Also, it's what does it say when already I was like, oh no, there's too many characters. And in the very beginning stages of the movie, they're like basically like, ugh, we have to go fight crime again. Couldn't you just go? Like, I give you superpower. What kid is just like, I just rather, sit around, This movie is like, I don't know.
Yeah, do your homework. I don't want to do my homework.
It's like some older conservative nightmare where it's like, oh, yeah, they're just on the TikToks. They don't even want to fight crime anymore. It's some like headline news thing in some 24-hour news
we're
cycle.
playing a game.
Yeah. Your kids are losers.
I will say it's gotta be pretty bad when you want to see more of them as just kids than as their superheroes.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. Like, I said this to someone else that I grew up on John Hughes, and I love the human condition. I love kids being kids.
Yeah.
And when you have like these grandiose characters that they turn into, and I don't care to see those,
right?
That's bad.
Yeah. It's not good.
But I think the same thing happened when I watched was it the second Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Mm-hmm. I actually like the scenes with him and Emma Stone over him as Spider-Man fighting foes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that say about that movie?
It's a lot. It basically says they screwed up Jamie Foxx and they had to do a reclamation of that later. Yeah. So, poor Electro. Ain't getting no love. Yeah. What's up, Shane?
No, nothing. I'd still rather watch that than this again, though.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. That's a tough beat. It's God, because again, like I said, I didn't have that immediate like. When I got out of the movie theater, I just realized I took very little notes, and I basically was like, can we just not do the podcast, and I'll just send a shrug emoji to all my friends to just be like, yeah, that's how I feel about the movie. Because like there's not a ton to do, but then as time went on, I started to like it less, so I'm like, I guess I gotta say a little bit more. But I really didn't I was like more mad at like the product placement, and I wrote things like flying books and talking pens like Harry Potter. Like, who cares? Like those type of things. But one thing we haven't mentioned to this point is that Gal Gadot stuff was pretty awkward, huh, guys?
Yes.
Because hey, we're not going to renew your movie, but oh, by the way, can you be in our Shazam movie? And somebody said, like, did they deep fake Gal Gadot? Because there was some behind the scenes shot of they put some other woman's body in the Wonder Woman thing, and so I don't know how they got the voice in the head on the scene where she's truly in, but like the other stuff, yeah, of course they could fake that. But like the dinner scene,
movie magic.
I know, but I'm like, that's not good, right? So I would have thought I would have heard something by now, like shouldn't she be mad if she was deep faked into it? But I'm like, she had to be there for those shots. That was too clean, right?
I would assume she was.
Because you would assume she'd be mad, right?
She's listed on IMDb as in the movie, just uncredited. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, who's she? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mind.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
No. I was going to say, but that's the thing. It's like we all know who Gal Gadot is.
Right.
Gadot, whatever the hell you want to call her. We all know who she is, and she was on screen at least towards the end for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was a whole big scene. It was like a pretty pivotal thing. Well, they needed a god, so they got a god. Yeah.
Maybe she saw the screenplay, is like, you know what? Don't attach my name to this movie. Like, just leave me off.
No, that's true.
Leave
it
off my
while
bio,
I'm here,
please.
No more third Wonder Woman movie either. Just take me out completely. Shazam was that bad. Yeah, so I don't know what to think about all that. Like it's because you figured these all had to probably been shot for a while when the HBO Max thing converted, the James Gunn thing, like all those things, all those pieces probably happened after that involvement. So I'm sure it's like a whole lot of nothing. So it just feels awkward knowing what happened in between. It feels like something to where if they truly didn't need her to be in this movie, they probably would have cut it out, is my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing happened.
You need a god, you got a god.
And the same thing happened to Henry Cavill at the end of the Black Adam movie. It's like, well, he's not going to be Superman anymore. Like,
right. Yeah. Or so we think. That's right. Talk seems to be still weird, but I don't know. So it's all very awkward with DC, and that's part of the reason why this movie, I think, didn't do well either, because they were just like, it's a sequel to a movie that I don't know how well it actually did the first time. I'd actually have to go back, but I don't remember it being like Aquaman numbers or something like that, even though I like the movie better than the first Aquaman, but that's a whole different story. But, this movie, I just don't think they knew what to do with it, and clearly the script feels like that too. So you don't feel like this has to be the end for, like, at most he's going to live in some other property. He's not getting another standalone Shazam movie. We can agree with that?
Probably not, no. Well, if they're trying to recruit him for the Justice Society, isn't there like a movie that will feature the Justice Society?
I can't believe, because I read over everything he has laid out, and I can't remember if Justice Society was going to be a TV show on HBO Max, like
probably makes sense,
or is going to be or is going to be in his part of his movies. I don't remember it being part of his movie plans, but I do remember him saying that he wants it in the TV world of the DCEU moving forward, and that would make more sense.
Sure, but what a step down. I've never really seen that where they kind of take like a title character and then I guess you could call it a demotion. Like he's going from big screen series. It's like if they went and took like, okay, the Black Widow movie or like Captain Marvel. If they said like, oh, Captain Marvel, you no longer get movies. You're just in Ms. Marvel. She'd be pissed, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody signs on to do that. And I mean, Zachary Levi started in, like Chuck and all those, like he was more in TV for a while before he became a movie star, but I don't know. Maybe that makes it even worse. Like he doesn't want to go back, but I don't know.
But I think he said he's receptive to doing a Chuck series again.
Yeah, he did say that.
That's interesting. Well,
like a Chuck movie. I think that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're all doing now? Not to get like too aside now, and I'm excited for it. But like after we did the whole talk about Poker Face and all these like the updates of all the whodunits, all of a sudden, hey, Monk is getting its own movie for Peacock, and I'm sure like I think they had other ones that were just like solo movies from TV shows to kind of be like, hey, let's bring this back for a thing. And they did that with Psych a couple times, and I was fine with it, even though I much more prefer the show than the movies they produce, but I'm still like, yeah, fuck it, let's do more. But yeah, I don't know about the Monk one. I love that cast, but Jesus, it's been a long time now. So we'll see. Any other thoughts, guys? Like did any of the stuff with the extra scenes do anything for you? We talked off air about that, right? With the Peacekeeper stuff, which for a show I truly liked, I did not care for that thing, and obviously brought up the Justice Society thing that Chris just mentioned. And also I straight up left before there was the second one. I broke the comic book rules, but I also just didn't care to not stay to the end of the credits. So anything you guys want to talk about with that, fair game.
No, it's just, you know what? Stingers don't mean what they used to anymore.
True.
I think, they're tacked on, and then, because of dealings behind the scenes, they're usually either squandered or forgot about.
Right. And that's on MCU has been doing that. They've been egregious with that, which they were the OGs of like, this matters. It carries over to the next movie. Yeah. That's because they had these things planned out, and now they're just like, throw them some chum for the next thing, and then they don't come to light. So that's No, Shane, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I didn't mind the post-credit scene, even though it might not go anywhere, or he might get demoted, as you said. I thought it was fun and light, and I liked his infatuation with Wonder Woman. I thought that was some of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
And how he's like, really, guy? You don't see it? You know, he's like, come on. I didn't mind that. I really didn't mind the post-credit scene. Like you, at that point I was tapped out. I was like, I'm out of here. So I didn't even think about staying till the last credit.
Yeah, but Chris, you found out about like the worm thing?
Yeah, I looked it up. Yeah, it was in a jail cell. Dr. Savannah, Mark Strong's character, is visited by
Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind,
which
is a worm that talks through a vocal box or whatever in the comic. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but then again, the cow in Peacemaker,
oh god, I keep saying
can't get any weirder
like
than
an
that.
Idiot. Thank you. All right,
but as you're saying, it's just like we're not sure about the future of this part of DC. I'm not even going to label it, but this part of DC, we're told, is done with. So why are you giving us post-credit scenes that James Gunn is like, now it's called the DCEU, and everything going forward is different from the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it seems squandered. It seems, a waste.
Well, he did mention, though, he does want to keep the Shazam character in the DC going forward. I did hear that in an interview. And as we know, Flashpoint resets everything, and Aquaman 2 supposedly is in the plans going. Like that's part of the new DCU going forward as well.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So I
thought they said
man.
that what's his face wasn't gonna be Aquaman anymore.
Jason Momoa,
because they were gonna recast him as a different character.
That could be true. I just know he wanted to keep that character, whether it's Momoa or not.
Yeah,
going down the line somewhere.
Chris, it's funny. Like when you were talking, I was kind of laughing to myself, thinking of like, how when like we watched the new Scream movie and like. Courtney Cox and whoever, like they come in the beginning and go, hey, thank you for seeing our movie and all this stuff. Like James Gunn should just appear before any of these last ones. Hey guys, enjoyed this movie. I don't know if I'm going to keep them or not, but it seems pretty good. Oh, you like Jason Momoa? Cool. He's not Aquaman anymore. So enjoy this while you can. He should come in with some explainer and like catch up with people, tell them what he plans on doing, and just reset us all, I guess.
That's the problem with this day and age. All this information is at our disposal.
Yeah.
And, whether it's going to be really used or if it's just hearsay, we don't know. But we absorb it all. We're just like sponges saying, okay, you said this thing. Well, now I think it's right. This is what's going to happen in the next movie. Perfect. I'm already spoiled. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and how many times have we heard from James Gunn to like debunk other things that just he didn't say and then have him say something completely different? So it's all just noise right now until we see something or have them bring back DC Fandom or whatever and do like a full breakdown like they do with the D23 and the like Comic-Con appearances and everything else to get things back on track, I guess. I don't know. It's all a mess, and it's not helping. Like we've talked about some superhero fatigue, MCU still having problems, and then DC having a clunker doesn't help on top of all that. So, holy boy. So we have a while. What do we have? Because Guardians is May. Aquaman is when? Flashpoint. The Flash movie, is earlier, right?
Yeah, I want to say June or July for Flashpoint.
Yeah, so then I think Aquaman got pushed to the
Like
fall.
November.
Yeah, I think that's right. So, yeah, and then the Marvels is also around that
you missed
time.
one. The Blue Beetle comes out this year.
Right.
Which
I
is
don't remember the date on that.
I saw a poster for it. It should be, I thought it was summer of this year. And that's supposed to be the first movie with the new DCU plans going forward.
Okay, so I don't know how up to date this is, but it's The Flash, June 23rd.
Right.
Blue Beetle, August 18th.
That's what I see too. Yep.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, December 25th.
There you go.
And that's all I got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it works. I'll probably see none of those unless you make us for the podcast. So that'll be great. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I'm interested. We talked about Blue Beetle. Seems interesting. And at least it's fresh blood, so I'll probably see that out of curiosity. Anything else you guys got? I think I'm all talked out on this kind of not flaming turd. I don't want to seem like I'm just, like it's just there, and I expected more. So it's going to sound very defeatist. Grades?
Yeah, let's do grade.
Yeah.
We have to do grades.
Yeah.
This is the straight up meh movie of the year. It's getting a meh grade. It's getting a 2.5 from me. I'll kick it off.
All right. Even with Zach Levi's performance, because I do like him as Shazam, he embodies it, and this movie had 4 hotties in it with Megan Good, Marta, Anthea, whatever her name is, and the Mary, the sister. She had 4 hotties.
Yeah.
And I still can't get it past a 2.5.
Nope. Same. Yep. Chris, where are you at?
Straight across the board, 2.5.
That's exactly what this movie is. Suckers on Letterboxd, get your game down or whatever. Like 3? Come on. 3 is stupid. And that was after last week with them giving Scream like a 3.8. Come on, Letterboxd. Come on. Get yourself back in order. I know you're pumped to see any movie now because we're post-Oscar and post, the major, huge movies at the end of the last year. But please, score appropriately. All right?
Yeah.
No, thank you. All right. Good job, guys. As always, we got another sequel coming at you next week, although one that's getting amazing reviews with John Wick 4, even though I'm not looking forward to watching an almost 3-hour-long John Wick movie. But, yes, sir.
I will say, I might not be on the following podcast because I might get arrested because my pants are going to burst. They're not going to get tight. They're not going to get tight. They're going to burst right through because this movie, I'll watch a 4-hour John Wick movie if I have to. I cannot wait for this freaking movie.
Yeah, we continue to be in Shane's wheelhouse. We have not gotten off the tracks on Shane whatsoever to start the year. So next week, that should be the homework. We will do that. Continue to, tell the people to come listen to this if you're fans of us. Spread the word. Also, I haven't mentioned it in a while. Check out my writings on whatsonnetflix.com. I gave my first play of my Play, Pause, or Stop series of the year with The Magician's Elephant, an animated family film that came out that, maybe it's the beauty of low expectations, but I had a good time. So check it out. If you're a family looking for something to watch, it's a solid story, a good little wish fulfillment kind of thing. Doing orphans right, Shazam, okay? You piece of crap. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, always end on a piece of crap. Thanks again for listening. As always, be with us next week for John Wick 4 and for more recent activity.